Hey, welcome to the Coachable Players podcast built on the belief that the most successful people in life are coachable. The athletes, business leaders, everyone around you share a trait. They're coachable. They're open to feedback. They grow under pressure, leading with humility beyond sports. Here at the Coachable podcast, we believe that coachability is not just a sports skill, it's a lifelong skill.
Yes, sir.
Yes, and today it's going to be awesome. Today we have our first ever Coachable Players concert.
Yes.
The world famous Crasher, Scott Crasher Braasch.
World famous.
Yes,
is a stretch, but I'll take it.
My man.
Thank you.
So his topic today is reaching young minds, and he
Yeah.
has reached thousands of young minds.
Yeah.
And for those, yes, absolutely. Yes. And for those few people that don't know Crasher, how about a little introduction so people know who you are?
Sure, everybody. So my name's Scott, but everybody calls me Crash. My last name's Braasch. Has nothing to do with the way I drive or whether I've been invited to a wedding or not. It's not anything like that. It's definitely Crasher Braasch, and it was a name I received through football and through sports from my coaches in the past when I was in middle school. So it's stuck with me. I'm 56 now. So Crasher has been pretty much my name for a very long time. And it's become my stage name too for music as well. But I was a football player, went off to college, played football at California University of Pennsylvania, and had two really major knee injuries that ended my football career very abruptly. Actually, back in '89, I was a defensive tackle for Cal U, and we were playing at Lock Haven, and I blew my knee out there during Hurricane Hugo had come up the coast, and they had a natural field, and it wrecked my. It was tough to play on, but I was having a really good game, but my own player hit me in the knee and blew out 3 ligaments and all the cartilage in my knee in one shot, and I had reconstructive knee surgery within 24 hours of that injury. And when I came out, I had a cast, from my toe to my hip, and that ended my football career. They said I shouldn't play football anymore. So I was dating a cheerleader at the time at Cal U, and between them and one of my fraternity brothers, they dared me to come out and do cheerleading. And I thought, cheerleading, man, I don't know. I'm a Middletown guy. I'm kind of local to this area as well. I grew up in Middletown, and cheerleading was always just kind of like the popular girls and stuff like that. It wasn't ever, in my mind, viewed as an athletic or a sport, at least back then. Now this was the mid to late '80s, so it wasn't something that you kind of looked at in that way. And so I was like, I don't know if I'm not want to do cheerleading. Are you kidding me? And I remember calling my dad, "Hey, Dad, I think I'm gonna do cheerleading." And there was a big joke there. For those that don't know, also my dad is Dan Steele, who's a radio personality in the area for many years. And I don't want to turn this into one of his things, but just for the record, he had a platform where he could make fun of me on the radio.
Nice.
And he did. So I'll use it just for that purpose. But that's probably a whole nother podcast, that joke that came out. But regardless, I called him and I said, I'm going to be a cheerleader. He said, "That's it?" "Oh, okay, no big deal. All right, cool. Are you going to do that?" "Whatever." So I started throwing the girls around, and I started to see how athletic and how much of a sport it felt like. I was like, "Oh, okay, this is like lifting and balance and tons of aspect using muscle groupings and things like that I've never had to really use before, because it wasn't with baseball or soccer or football or any of the sports that I had done, wrestling, all that different stuff." So I just got into it. I was like, I got really excited about it. I was like, this is actually pretty cool. This is athletic. It is a sport. And so I started to feel that way. And when I did, then I always had kind of like the thought process that I don't want to just do something to do something. I want to do something to be the best at something. And probably something that's been instilled in me from coaches before and from my parents as well, which is all part of this topic in the first place, is how do you become a coachable person? I felt like a coachable person, and I felt like that was something that all of a sudden I now wanted to be coached at. And And I was learning off of videos because at Cal U, they didn't have a cheerleading coach. There was nobody there coaching us at the time. So we were literally coaching ourselves. We were trying to figure out how to do all of this. How do you do cheerleading? What is this? Show me a video. I'm talking to the girls. I'm like, I don't know how to do this stuff. So, I'm learning how to become a cheerleader. And as I did, I continued we went to camps. We did all that kind of stuff growing up. I mean, I ended up being a cheerleader in college for 3 years. I was a collegiate All-American with NCAA. At cheerleading. And it all kind of came very, very quickly. It was like just happened. As I started to throw the girls in the air, that became an easy thing. Then I met my wife, Kim Lawson, now Kim Braasch, who was a Penn State cheerleader through summer camps. And between the two of us, we had a vision that we wanted to bring this, and when I say bring this, the cheerleading gyms are I guess, relatively new in the sense that in the last 30 years, they've come around. It wasn't like there's hundreds of years of cheerleading gyms around, kind of like the sport. Cheerleading's been around for a very long time, but training girls and boys in an actual gym was not something that really existed back then. So we had this, we were like, we should open up a cheerleading gym. And we were teaching summer camps, and we were teaching summer camps with people that were from Texas and Atlanta and Miami and all these places. And we would all come together under the brand of NCA back then. And we would teach a summer camp, and we're all talking about it. Yeah, we're going to go back and open up these gyms. Let's open up gyms. We're going to go back and open up a gym in Pennsylvania, central Pennsylvania. And they're like, we're going back and opening up a gym in Atlanta. We're going to open up a gym in Miami and Dallas and all these places. And so all of a sudden, these competitive all-star gyms started popping up all over the place. And Cheer Time was our brand. We had started Central Penn All-Stars, and we ran that for 2 years.
What year are we talking? 90s or?
This would be, so that's a good question. 95, Central Penn All-Stars, 95, 96, maybe it was the very end of 95, 96, 97, 98, we incorporated as Cheer Time. We didn't really, I went to college to be a teacher and to play sports. And that was kind of in my mind.
In the same order, probably sports.
Yeah, no, I think actually, you're right. It was actually flip-flopped in the order. It wasn't until I blew my knee out that I realized I needed an education, but the rest of it before that was me finding out what college was all about. But regardless, so we opened up Cheer Time off of Central Penn All-Stars, which we ran for a few years. And it was my opportunity to take what, I had a teaching degree, and my whole entire thought process in college was I was going to be a teacher and coach football. That's what I thought was going to happen. Nice. So, I had been influenced by Coach Etsy, by Coach Boyland, by Schatz, by some really, really good coaches that I've had. Fortunately, I grew up in an era at Middletown where I was under some people that I felt like really did a great job of molding me as an athlete into wanting to even do that again. As an adult, I was like, I want to coach kids. This is what I want to do. And I want to teach. And it was because of those people that came before me that instilled the thought processes into my head as a coach themselves by their leadership, by the way they did their coaching their teams, me being a part of it, how they interacted with me. It just really kind of made me feel like, that's absolutely what I want to do in life. So I always thought I would be a football coach and a teacher. And here I did teaching for a while. I had my degree. I taught. And then when we opened up Cheer Time full time, I ended up moving from the teaching side of things into owning the cheer gym and running the business. But awesome. I still feel like in the business set, I am still a teacher. I still feel like I'm, in the gym, I'm like the superintendent, the school board, the principal, all those things. It all kind of ran through me, and the kids loved to come to school, and they didn't mind their homework, and they enjoyed being a part of it. So to me, it was like, I love this. It's like running a little school district in Cheer Time. So cool. Yeah. That takes me up to present day, I guess. Okay. I suppose that's the journey I took.
There you go.
Yeah.
So we set the foundation. Yeah. That's who this is who he is. Yeah. That's who we're talking with today, people. And it is a live studio audience. We might. Yes. Yeah. When I announced Crasher was going to be here, everyone was knocking down the door to get in here to hear him play. So yeah, as I said, the topic is reaching young minds. And I got to thank you. You reached Elena, my middle daughter's young mind. You reached her, and the Hanses are here. Maddie as well. You reached them,
indeed.
and just with Elena, the confidence that she has and the leader that she's becoming. I attribute to you, and you played a major role in that. So thank you.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you. Great kid. And great kid, great athlete, and great, easy to, very coachable.
Yeah.
Very coachable. And so that's a props to parents as well, and parenting, and the environment that you create in your household, because as we continue to talk today, I think you're going to find that plays a big role in it as well.
Yeah. And speaking of that, my youngest daughter, she's had to date 3 different basketball coaches.
She's going to be a cheerleader before you know it.
We'll see. That's why I'm telling her to stay upstairs. Stay away from Crashers. Yeah, but the 3 coaches all said that your daughter is coachable. It's a pleasure to coach young people that are coachable, that listen to you, that take feedback. And that was kind of where this came from, Coachable Players. And I thought, what better way to spend a nice Saturday afternoon than talking about coachable people.
Absolutely.
With great minds like you. So
absolutely.
So we will. I know a lot of you are going to listen for the music, and we're going to hear some great tunes today here. But let's start with a little question here,
sure,
and then we'll play some music, and then come back to the questions.
Yeah.
So it's reaching young minds here. As a coach, what do you see young athletes struggling with the most today?
Well, I think there's and there's a lot of that. Yeah. Distractions. The kids nowadays have so much. I think back to when I first opened up cheer time and I started coaching, and even when I was an athlete too. We didn't have cell phones. We didn't have technology at our fingertips the way we do right now. We didn't have instant gratification. We didn't have the need for gratification in the first place. The gratification we were searching and looking for wasn't necessarily online or anywhere, and now it is. And kids are really looking for that kind of stuff, and they feel like, however many likes they have on a particular picture exemplifies who they are as a person, when really that isn't the case at all. So I think that's probably one of the biggest things I would say that I see with kids is the social media, and the technology at their fingertips has really kind of created a distraction to them. Whereas, the focus in the past, I don't think was ever there, because it didn't really exist much, but it's expanded so much, and it's only getting bigger. Yeah. So it's not going away ever. It's learning how do you as a coach work around that. And for me, I'm kind of at the tail end of my coaching through that. So I'm it's tricky. It's tricky. Yeah. I guess I don't want to say I'm thankful because I'm appreciative of my coaching, but I know the struggles that it creates for coaches to try to deal with that. I mean, our kids can pull someone's stunt sequence up in 3 seconds on their phone and go, oh, this is this team's stunt sequence. This is what this team scored at this competition or that competition. They know quicker sometimes than the coaches do. Yeah. And it's because information and technology is at their fingertips, and they're so quick with it.
In that aspect, it's good technology. Yeah, absolutely.
In that aspect, it is good. Yeah. But it's also, it can be, that can also be a distraction for them, because the focus needs to be on them and their enhancement of their physical abilities, what they continue to, how they grow as a team, and I speak a lot in cheerleading terms, not necessarily football or anything, because cheerleading is what I ended up, doing full time for 30 years of my life. So I'm going to speak in those terms a lot. But I converted at a young age in my mind. Because cheerleading is all. I mean, it's tricky. I don't want to get off topic, and I may, so help me if I go straying away. But, cheerleading is tricky because it's one of those sports that is subjective in certain areas. Like football, you score a touchdown at 6 points, no matter if you're on a Pee Wee team or if you're at a D1 college, or in the pros. Yeah. It's still 6 points, period. And in cheerleading, you throw a full twist and it's worth 8 points on this score sheet, 8.5 on this score sheet, 9 points on this score sheet. Just depends on who's looking at it, whether they thought it piked in the middle or broke form, or whether it landed and squared off properly. All those different things, all these different stuff is all interpretive by a judge. So it's trickier, in our sport to try and justify certain scores and certain things. And that's another aspect in cheerleading that we struggle with athletes, is trying to get them to understand score sheets and what drivers are numbers that are taken away on our score sheet. How we have to counteract that, and how we have to train our athletes to, think differently and focus on the littlest aspects and to make them the most important aspects, so that it enhances our score as a whole. But, yeah. So I don't want to ever get boring to the non-cheerleading community. But I'll tell you, one of the things I did right away is I started coaching my kids like they were football players. I think I wanted them to understand how important cheerleading was and how hard they had to work to be a part of it. And Central Pennsylvania cheerleading was not where it needed to be. I remember taking our kids. Our very first year, I took them down to Dallas, Texas, to a competition, and we got our butts kicked bad. But there were teams down there and programs down there. Cheer athletics was a program that was going on down there. There were more full twists. And for those that don't know, that's where a girl goes up in the air, does a twist in a layout position, and lands on her feet, which is a pretty tricky skill, fulls and doubles. There were more full twists on the one cheer athletics team than there were in the whole state of Pennsylvania, and I was just like, this is where we got work to do. We got to get back to the gym and get to work. And these kids' eyes opened up like, boom, wow, that's cheerleading. And we took that back, and we used it as motivation for us, and we pushed hard. And, over the years, we've certainly grown into a program that's been formidable at the national level too, because of it. But
so 6 years ago, I was on the side of the non-cheerleading community.
Yeah.
Elena went through cheer time 6 years, and I was of the mindset, like you said, like, this isn't a sport. I used to think like that.
Yeah.
And then I would pick her up from practice, and she sweat more, was more tired. And I played football, and football was like my primary sport.
Sure.
And I'd watch her practice cheer. I'm like, oh my gosh, they practice way harder than we practice.
Yeah, exactly.
You guys really put them through the ringer, and they improved because of it.
It's very interesting because, it wasn't even, I don't know, probably not even 50, 60 years ago that cheerleaders were wearing saddle shoes and, non-athletic apparel. Now they're in sports bras, and there's proper equipment, and our sneakers are light, and they can, tumble and they're on spring floors just like a gymnast is at the Olympic level. So, I mean, everything is adapted to the athletic side of our sport, which has been such a pleasant thing to see happen, because, you get people like myself and many of the other coaches across the country that are doing this. We're training our kids to be the best athletes that we can possibly train them to be. And now the stunts, I mean, you're literally watching organized chaos out there on the cheerleading mat. If you don't know anything about cheerleading and you go to a national championship for the first time, you're just like, what the heck?
It's crazy at the first time.
This is insane. These kids are up in the air, they're flipping and twisting and doing all, and these people are catching them, and it's like Cirque du Soleil, and so, you have to train at a certain level in order to be there. I always tell my kids, I'm like, look, if you want to be at the highest level of this sport, think about like what the highest level of gymnasts trains. They're in the gym every single day for 3 hours. We're only in the gym 2 to 3 times a week for 2 hours of practice. You're going in 2, 4, 6, maybe 7 or 8 hours a week that you're putting into this. And there's people in other sports that are training, 20, 30 hours a week. That's a huge difference in how we train. We try to make it a family friendly sport too, because clearly we have kids of all ages and all levels, just like in gymnastics. But it's not like, on a football team, you don't have like level 1 football, level 2 football, level 3 football, level 4 football. And then here's the elite kids up here, and you just have a team, and you make it or you don't make it, or you're on maybe the JV team. That would be the equivalent of being on the next team down. But in cheerleading, you got a level 1 team, you got level 1 youth, level 2 youth, level 3 youth, you got a mini team, you got a junior team, level 2, 3, 4, 5. And as the higher the number goes up, the more advanced the teams and the athletes are at that level. So, so it's grown tremendously, our sport, which has been great. And, it's also got growing pains too in our sport. And there's been some difficulties in that across the country, but we're, I'm still enjoying it, and we're still going strong, man.
Nice. And that young mind, Elena, that you
Yeah.
reached, she coached Inspiration for you 1 year.
Yeah.
And then for 3 years, I think she coached Pee Wee football cheer. So
she did. Yeah.
And she said, when I graduate, I want to get a job where I can coach. So,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
I love to hear that. And for those that don't know, Inspiration, that's our special needs cheerleading team at Cheer Time. Inspiration's been around for a very long time. It's run by Bobby and Jeannie, our two coaches that have been with us a long time. So yeah, that's a great program for
awesome.
For special needs.
Awesome. So in 2020, the COVID year, I remember we had a conversation. You said, I'm playing music more and more in my garage. Not a lot going on, not getting out in the community. I'm getting pretty decent. Fast forward to today, you know, you're all over Central PA. You're playing all these bars, restaurants. You're playing tonight at a Legion.
Yeah.
I'm at Key West, Florida a couple months ago. Yeah. And you text me and said, I'm playing down here. I'm like,
that was.
So should we give the people what they want?
Let's get a song in.
Yeah, let's get a song in here. That's good.
Fair enough. That's good.
And then we'll talk about your music and we'll get back to reaching young minds.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Sounds good. Mike's still in a good spot?
Oh, yeah.
So touching, trying to bring it up here a little bit. Check. Yes. So you can find me at crashacoustic.com if you're looking. Friday. Weekend's gonna start my way. Back to car and off we go. Left hand and roller coasters out the window. Each bound for the weekend. That's the last post I send. Not stuck on the way. No distractions from you and me. We going each pound, top town. My hair's blowing round. Small town, top town, long time. I've been around beach, down, top, down, beach, down, top, down, beach bound, yeah. Beach bound, yeah. Driving the coast is a beautiful sight. Soft water wind smells just like in my rearview spot seat. And people strapped waving back at me. Driving by houses will never stop me. We will never saw part of a big tree. Long as the beach bound, you and me, we go to beach town, top down, my head going around, just a small town. Out down a long time ago, driving around the beach, down top, down the beach, down top, down beach bound, yeah. Beach bound, yeah. Just a small town. You ain't got back a long time ago. Try to ankle deep where the waves crash. Looking for shells in sea glass. Staring at the most beautiful sight. We're together, everything's all right. Beach town, Top down, getting money, going around. Small town, I found a long time ago, driving around the beach, down, top down, going beach, down, top down, beach band, beach band, beach band, beach band, beach band, beach band. Beach Bound.
Awesome.
It's my new song, Beach Bound. It's coming out April 24th. So if you're out there and you're listening to music and you're into the trop rock style music, which is what I play a lot of, trop rock, Americana, and country, that's the type of singer-songwriter I am. Check out Crash Acoustic on wherever you stream or buy music. I have artist pages on all of those. And like and follow. I'd appreciate it if you would do that. Like and follow my pages, and if you can put one of the songs that are on there onto a playlist or something, it helps bump algorithms, believe it or not. So
That's cool.
Yeah, it's tricky. I always thought the hardest part about the music making process, which hasn't been very long for me, to be honest with you, but I always thought the hardest part would be making the music, like writing the song, recording the song, doing all that kind of stuff. And honestly, it's been the funnest part. The hardest part is getting the music into people's ears.
The side of stuff.
Getting music into people's ears, like getting people to hear your songs. And it's like, wow, people are always like, that's a great song. I'm like, do me a favor and just send it to somebody, put it out there. It's crazy because, fortunately we do have the internet and I can push out, but then there's whatever, you never know what Facebook allows people to see, how the algorithms all work and whether people are seeing stuff or not. But you can bump things if you can get into playlists, if you can get into like continued rotations on people's listening to your songs. And so it's tricky, but it's always nice. And platforms like this are a great opportunity for me to get out, talk a little bit about what I do for a living and being able to do some music too. So thank you, man. I appreciate you.
Well, you do have the experience because, as you mentioned, starting the cheer gym, and that was kind of a new thing back in the 90s, mid-90s. And so that kind of drive back then and that passion back then is still with you. I see it today. So
absolutely.
You really put a lot into your gigs when I see you out and about.
Thank you. I do enjoy. I play as a duo also. Tonight I have a duo gig. Nice. Crash and Cross Acoustic is that.com. But Crash Acoustic solo, Crash and Cross Acoustic duo, and I appreciate that. Thank you, man.
You bet. And I did get you some water if you get a little.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Wet my whistle.
Yes. So back to reaching young minds.
Let's reach some minds.
Yes. Let's reach some good minds. Yes. So not every player is coachable. Not every player is a delight to be around. There's some young minds out there from time to time that are tough to connect with.
Yeah.
Do you have any advice reaching people that are uncoachable?
Yeah, I have a lot of history in that actually, and I think when we first opened up Cheer Time, I've been extremely flattered and humbled by where people travel to be a part of our program. Our program grew to a point where we had people driving in a 2-hour radius of our. I had people coming to our gym from West Virginia and from Maryland and from Poconos and the outskirts of Philly. And so, they travel all these distances. Well, what you get when you get that is you get completely different demographic of people coming into your gym, all to be a part of the same exact team. So, I have kids that'll walk in the gym and their parents can write a check for the whole entire year. And I have people that come in the gym with one parent, struggling to make ends meet from month to month to month. They make, they have to do every fundraiser that we offer in order to afford it and make it work. And I think understanding where people come from, we as a business had to understand where everybody was coming from in order to make it so that it was the family that everybody could be a part of. The melting pot. Cheer Time was that place where everybody could come from wherever they came, whatever their background and their family life is. So trying to find the common ground is always one of the first steps, I would say, in trying to connect with any athlete. What's the common ground? Well, fortunately for me, to most people, if you just looked at me, I'm just a big guy that does cheerleading. But if you love cheerleading, then I'm a big guy that has an opportunity for you to train in a facility that will take you places and push you to your extreme ability. So I got to get kids to understand that. Otherwise, I'm just a big guy that they don't want to hear. You know, they have enough dads, or they have dads in their lives, or they have other authoritative figures, I should say, or even, you know, because that could be mom too, but they have authoritative figures in their life that they don't need one more authoritative figure in their life unless that authoritative figure has something to offer them. And so, you know, me trying to explain to young athletes that, you know, we have an opportunity here for you to train with people of all different types. This is life.
Yep.
I mean, this is basically what you're going to have in life. You're going to be in a job one day where you're going to be working with people you don't like, that you love, that you can't stand, and that you want to be around all the time. You're going to have both of those levels in life. And so what do you guys have in common? Well, you have in common at your job place, whatever that job is, whatever you're doing together, you all want to see that succeed. Well, in the competitive cheerleading world, we all want to get on the mat. We want to utilize our abilities to the best so that the team does the best it possibly can. That's our common ground. We have to find that common ground with every athlete. And that has to be, sometimes you have to spell that out to kids. You know, what is my role on this team? Understanding your role on a team is a tremendous motivator for an athlete. If I know what it is I'm to do, what my job is. My job is to throw girls up in the air. Okay. I'm going to throw girls into the air. That's my job. That's what I'm going to do. If my job is to tumble across the front and do the jumps, and then I'm going to do that. If my job is to be the flyer at the top of the pyramid and stay as tight as I possibly can. All right, how do I become better at that? What do I got to do to become better at that? Once you have all that defined, and that can be any sport. You know, I mean, that's, if I'm the quarterback, well, then there's motions and there's proper technique involved in releasing the football and drop back steps and fake, you know, different things. If I'm a lineman, what's my first step? You know, I mean, there's all kinds of aspects. It can be, it's every single sport across the board. You gotta make sure that you start at those basic points and you find that basic point, and then that you get to that kid and that athlete by explaining to them their role and by explaining to them how they help the team as a whole, and then you can pull them together in that common ground. You know, we all love this sport. We're all coming from all over the place. You know, beat that stuff into their brains. That's what I've always done anyway. It's helped me to get kids on the same page by doing that. So
So you kind of touch on it with that answer with finding the common ground, but is there something beyond that? Is there some sort of mindset shift that could change a young person's life immediately?
Yeah, I mean, I think just caring for somebody, and we're in such a judge a book by the cover. I mean, this is our world right now, is so you're either on this side or that side. It's politicized. You got this and that, and it's constant negativity in our world around us, let alone a sport that you're belonging in. It's beat into our brains every single day to you're either on this team or you're on that team. And so trying to fight that all the time is as a coach, because when you're coaching a team, this is the team. I need everybody's head and mind focused on this right now. So, you know, one of the things we try and focus on coming into cheer time, hang your issues at the door. You know, leave any issues you have on the outside at the door. This is your safe place. Come into this gym, train, focus on what you want to do to get better. Forget all the stuff going on outside of the world. And there's enough of it going on. We all have issues. Every single person in this team has an issue. But, you know, trying to get through to kids that believe the issue that they're dealing with outside of life is more than the next person's on their team's issues that they're dealing with out of life. That's tricky because everybody thinks that the issues that they're dealing with in life are bigger and more complex than the person next to them's issues. And I'm like, no, they're not. Everybody has issues. I have issues. You know, I'm dealing with them. Everybody in this room deals with their own issues in some way or another. And out there that's viewing, everybody has those problems, and it's okay to have problems. I mean, that's kind of how the world is. You know, it's how you adapt and you overcome those problems is what makes you the person that you are, and what pushes you to the next step in life or to the next threshold that you're shooting for. So, I mean, it's the same thing you got to do as a mentor and as a coach. You have to find where that athlete, where that student that you have in your program is, and then you have to go to where they are and take them to where you want them to be and teach them how you want them to get there. And I think transparency is so key. Being a communicator, I'm a communicator. And I feel like that's helped me over the years. And I feel like it's such an important aspect that I never took for granted that I felt like a kid understood what I was saying. I always felt like I explained it. Sometimes you get that mansplaining concept. Are you mansplaining?
Yeah.
I'm coach-splaining you.
Yes,
and I'm
wanna
making
make
sure that I'm saying it to you, because you do get athletes that are like, I know.
Yeah.
They're the I know athletes. And that's a tricky athlete to deal with, because they're basically, that's a closed-minded.
Do they truly know?
Right. No, they don't necessarily, or I wouldn't have been talking to you in the first place.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be teaching you something right now in this very particular moment if you already knew.
Yeah.
I'd be telling you great job and high-fiving, which is another aspect of coaching that has to exist too, is that gratification side. But did I answer the question?
You did. You nailed it. Out of the ballpark. Home run. Yes.
Sweet.
Yeah. So what responsibility does a coach have beyond the sport? Do you feel like you have a responsibility when, like, Lena's been gone now 2 years, and I feel like she could pick up the phone and call you if she has a question? Or
In terms of, I think the responsibility that I have is practice what I preach.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the biggest things that, it's easy to try and get kids to get a winner's mindset, or try to, believe that they can do something that they can't do. Sometimes it's not quite as easy to always, as a coach, to always tell yourself that, and to coach yourself into that same mindset. So I think for me, it's always I try to practice what I preach. If I'm telling my athletes they have to do this, that, or the other thing, then I want to make sure that, I'm holding myself to a standard that is similar to that, and that can be whatever you think in your mind. I just think for me, it's been something that I've always tried to focus on is making sure that I'm holding myself to a standard that I think is one that my students, my athletes would be proud of as well. Nice. And that's whatever, the way I talk, the way I communicate, the way I post online, whatever I put out there into the world, my communication with them, happy birthday to them, just acknowledging them down the road 2 years later after they've already been out of my program. Hey, great job. Congratulations on getting married. I hear you're having a child, blah, blah, blah. Nice. Yeah. So different things like that, just keeping communication up and keeping relationship up over the years. And Facebook is good for that. I think there are good. Social media is a great tool. It can be such a distraction, but gosh, it's a great tool to keep up on people. The one trick about it is you don't always feel like you feel like you know everything about a person, and then you see them and you're like, I don't know anything about it. I haven't seen you in person, like really communicated with you in forever, but I feel like I know everything going on in your life because you post it all over Facebook, and I see it. So that's a tricky thing, because you don't always necessarily stay connected with people like you stay connected with people. Not truly connected, like in the past, when we were kids, and if you wanted to find out where everybody was, you had to ride your bike around the neighborhood to see where all the bikes were laying in the front yard. That's where everybody is. Because there's 17 bikes in the front yard, so they're all somewhere over there. You had to go find people. Now you just send a text out. Where is everybody? Okay. Or you don't even go see them. You can talk to them online, Zoom, whatever, or whatever they use anymore. So the interaction aspect has diminished. And I feel like that's another tricky part, is that you don't necessarily, these kids aren't very all the time face-to-face kids. They're more internet text,
Snapchat,
hide behind keyboards kind of things. And stuff like that. And so I feel like, that's always a difficult spot to be in.
Yeah.
I'm still old school in the sense that I like to handshake. I like to hug. I like to, how you been? Good to see you. I like to have a conversation face to face. That's still where I am as a person. And I just hope that our world never loses that. I hope that our world can continue to, kids can continue to feel like that. That's important. Interaction like that is important.
I agree. I'm a hugger. I agree. When it comes to the social media side, probably once a year, I got a great partner, just like you got a great partner. We'll talk about it in a second.
Yeah.
But Melody will correct me probably once a year. And she's like, you came across as an ass, you know, like you're posting that stuff and that's not who you are. You know? It's like, what are you doing? And she'll correct me, you know, and just like you have a great partner in Kim. And I wish she was here today. Melody's like, is she coming?
Well, they're down at the regional summit right now. The coaching, her and my son went down to the regional. We had 3 teams make the regional summit, which is basically like the Super Bowl. It's for the lower level teams.
Okay.
Our lower level teams get an opportunity to compete regionally rather than having to spend an arm and a leg to go to Orlando every year. Like some of our upper level teams, higher level teams will be going there at the end of the season. This is their end of the season Super Bowl. So this is a big one for them. And we've won this a bunch of times in the past. So I'm really rooting for our the teams we have out there. And hopefully my wife and son come back with some wins.
Yeah.
I have a gig tonight and this ended up working out. So here I am.
Perfect.
I don't actually, I think it's important to know, I don't actually physically coach teams right now. I do coach some individuals in private lessons on tumbling because I do the higher level tumbling. So I work with a few kids in our gym on upper level tumbling, and then I consult with all of our teams and my wife and my son. I do a lot of that now. So I wouldn't say I'm retired from cheerleading, but I am definitely moving more into music. Yeah, I have stepped back a bit, and I'm more on the business side of things, and the consulting side of things, and I'm leaning more into I do real estate also. I'm leaning more into real estate with Coldwell Banker. Scott Crasher Homes. There's my tag. Scott Crasher Homes. Check me out. And also and then the music. Clearly is my big thing. So but
that's got to be awesome those decades of coaching with your wife, coaching with Kim, and she's awesome at reaching minds too. I mean, she could deliver just as good as interviews.
So. Oh, she is very. Yep, you guys
are amazing.
She was I got real luck. I married up, as many of us do. Thank goodness. I am just a lucky guy. My wife's wonderful. She's such a caring and loving person, and she's the perfect person to be running it. Our gym. She deals with a lot and it's crazy because we want to coach kids, but we always sometimes feel like we're coaching parents.
Yeah. And
parents are probably the biggest deterrent for coaches anymore.
You could say pain in the ass too.
I mean, it's yes, that is that is definitely a word in the vocabulary. I mean, it's a struggle because we're constantly dealing. Kids are very adaptive. They overcome, they deal with it. They cry to mom and dad about whatever it is, but they're back the next day and they deal with it and they move on and they push through. And they're good like that. Parents hold things longer. They're upset. I'm upset. My child is upset. Well, tough. Honestly, that's tough. That's tough. That's coaching. I know you want to put your kids in a big old cradled eggshell and hold on to them as tight as you possibly can. And anytime they're sad, you want to be upset at whoever made them that way. But part of coaching is putting kids in place and giving them discipline and teaching them discipline. And, it's been a tough part. And I know I'm talking about my wife right now, but I just went on a side thing because of it. But I mean, that's a really tough aspect. And it's rough I just know it's rough for her, and she's dealing with a lot with that. She's always had me to lean on in the gym, and I'm not necessarily always there right now in that capacity. So now she's feeling it, and she's like, this is rough. But she's an amazing person, was a Penn State cheerleader, probably equally could be sitting right here in this chair doing this podcast with you. And
minus the guitar.
Yeah. No, she won't sing. No, she will. No, she doesn't. No instrument. Yes. She'll dance. She'll dance like she would be a dance like a champ. Of course, I'd need to drop a trap beat or some kind of house beat or something on it, a hip hop beat for her to do that. But I play trop rock. She'll dance around to some trop rock. She likes that. I mean, I'm a very lucky guy to have her in my life, and my son too. Tyler, I have 2 boys, Tyler and Brendan. Now, my youngest son. He's not into cheerleading at all. In fact, he hates it. Growing up, he was like, if you ever gave me this gym, I would turn it into he wanted to turn it into
something Star Wars related.
I'm trying to think of the laser gun, laser tag. He was going to turn it into a laser. He was like, I'm gonna turn it into a laser tag place. That's what he wanted it to be. Yeah, but Tyler was a highly decorated, highly competitive cheerleader coming out of
National
this area.
champion, I believe, right? Or
yeah, he's won just about everything you can win in our sport as an athlete, and now he's doing it again as a coach.
Yeah.
So, he's won worlds, he's won NCAA college nationals a couple times. He's won Summit. He's won won it all. I mean, he's really a talented, very, very talented, probably one of the most decorated, if not the most decorated athlete to come out of Central Pennsylvania in the competitive cheerleading world. Cheered at University of Louisville and all that. So, I mean, and he's 25 and he's into this. This is way, so he's at a perfect age where he's like, that's kind of when I got into all this stuff. So now he's getting into it, and he's doing a great job at the gym and as a choreographer, and very creative minded. He's got two very creative minded parents, and it's definitely gone into him. He's doing a great job with it as well. And coaching, I think coaching side is a little trickier for him. I don't know if he has quite the patience that his dad and mom had. And
he'll learn it.
I think he's young. Yeah. So he's definitely learning, and I hope that for him. But he does enjoy it. So yeah.
So here's an idea. Just throw it out there. Think about it. You could do cheer and laser tag at nighttime. So
there you go.
You have to practice.
Brandon, we'll get
just throw it out there. Get Brandon in the game.
In the game. That's right.
Yeah. So how about some music now? What do you say? Do you want to talk about your songwriting process at all?
Yeah, sure. I mean,
play a process at all on that?
Yeah, I just sure. I mean, I think I owe a lot of my creativity. I mean, I've always been a creative person, creative minded, in terms of a lot of cheerleading, especially, and artistically creative. Because I feel like when you're doing choreography and cheerleading, you're painting a picture on the floor with athletes. There's symmetry, there's stunts in the air, there's levels to it, there's different things up at the top, there's stuff still happening down here, there's dance movement this way and that way. It's just a lot of creativity and choreography. And in my mind, doing that for 30 years, that is in there. And so when I start writing a song, whatever that topic might be, my mind starts going up here, down here. There's other aspects, there's levels. I need to create different things going on in the song that has a good hook, that has a creative tag to it, that is that has, it's just a fun song. So, for me, I think I started doing a lot of writing at COVID, mainly because, we were one of those businesses at the time. My wife and I both derive our income through at the time at COVID. Cheer time. It was through cheer time. Yeah, we both it was all cheerleading, competitive cheerleading, choreography. I do competitive cheer music as well, which is a whole other topic. But everything was cheerleading related, and at that particular time in our life, that was all ended and it stopped. So we had no income as a family, and we're just sitting there like, wow, that just how did that? What do we do? So in my mind, I started going, we have to diversify this. We can't just both be deriving our income from competitive cheerleading. Like, something has to happen. So I got serious. I started getting serious about real estate. I got into the real estate world. I'm like, I need to diversify. Well, let's do that. And my neighbor across the street, he played guitar. And I remember at COVID, I would always sing in the shower, or sing to my wife in her ear, or sing in different situations that were never like me out there. I knew I had a voice. I knew I could sing, but I guess I just never saw myself as in that situation as an entertainer. My dad was a radio personality. He's got a great radio voice. I think I have that's very similar in that situation where I can, and it comes through in my vocals as well. So I always felt like I could sing, but I just never thought I'd be an entertainer like that or be a singer like that. And I never grew up around instruments. As my dad being a DJ, I grew up around music. I grew up around all the genres of music. He's played, he's a DJ 40 plus years in this area, in the Harrisburg market, and DC and nice. Texas as well. So it's been there, but I never grew up with instruments. So, but at the time it was COVID. I'll go back to that. And we had we were trying to socially distance at the cul-de-sac. I live in the cul-de-sac. And so my neighbor over there had a little fire pit in the cul-de-sac. And then my neighbors over here had a fire pit in the cul-de-sac. And we had one over here. So we were all just 3 fire pits in the cul-de-sac. It was fun. Nice. We were out there drinking, having a good time. and hanging out with each other. And my buddy brought his guitar out, and he started playing songs, and I was singing. My other neighbor, he doesn't sing, so usually he would do sing-alongs in the backyard, and everybody sings along. Everybody does it. So and he was listening. And he's like, I didn't realize you could sing. And I was like, well, I don't really do that much. Most of the time when I sing, I was always singing with other people, and you don't really hear just the one person stand out. But he's like, what are you doing tomorrow? I'm like, same thing you're doing, nothing.
Yeah.
Come on over. So we sat in the garage, and we knocked out like 50 different songs.
That's cool.
And just messing around, had a good time with it. And we started this little thing called Cul-de-sac Duo, named it after our cul-de-sac there that we lived in. And
very cool.
Yeah, and so we did some little house concerts in backyards, and I got the itch.
Okay.
I remember singing for the first time in front of people. We sang me and Julio down by the schoolyard, and I was like this. I'm like panicking, I'm staring at the words, and I can't even say. I'm like, I was no projection. Yeah. It was like I was like, oh my god, they're listening to me right now, and it was like such a scary moment, but it was a necessary moment. I've been in front of crowds and talked in speeches and done different, talking to people but you're putting yourself, it's such a judgy, music is very judgy, and people either hate you, love you, or there's always that kind of thing with a musician. So you never know where you're going to hit and how you're going to hit with people. So that song we did that one. The next song I did was Tennessee Whiskey, which I'm way more comfortable with. And so it hit me as I'm watching. And there's like probably 30, 40 people out in the crowd while I'm playing in front of, and I'm watching, and husbands and wives are hugging and leaning into each other on the song. And then also I see couples are dancing in the back, and I'm like, what the heck? This is awesome. And it just clicked in my brain, like, this is what I want to do. I want to be an entertainer in that regard. So that's where it took off from. And then I started writing songs. I'm like, I'm gonna write some songs, because at the time I knew a bunch of musicians in the trop rock community, and I have a lot of respect for. And I bought a lot of their CDs and listened to their music, and I've always had like kind of a trop rock edge to me, Jimmy Buffett edge to me. So I started listening and writing, and I was writing some songs down, and and it just kind of took off. So I think I owe a lot of my creative minded in the rhyming and the syncopation and the that kind of stuff that happens in a song. I owe a lot of that to the cheerleading side of things, because I feel like it's sort of helped bring out that artistic side a little bit. And I do a lot of competitive cheer music where I do vocals. I've done that for like 25 years also. So if you've ever been listening to or watching, like on ESPN, watching cheerleading on ESPN, you'll hear the music that they're playing, they're doing their routine to. And that music that they're doing the routine, that 2.5 minute routine, that's something that's a very niche kind of community of music producers, but I'm one of them. I'm one of those guys that mixes those for teams all over the country, youth teams, rec teams, all-star, high school, college. I've been doing that, and that's kind of helped me on the production side too of music. So I've had that already. Now live music is completely different, and maybe I can talk about it after I do a little bit, the live side of things. Yes. You want me to do a song, or you want me to, what do you do?
Do we have a request from the crowd? A question, yes. Okay.
So you were singing. When did you start playing the guitar? Did you start at a cul-de-sac?
No. Actually, what ended up happening to me was my neighbor was the guitar player, and I was the singer.
Yeah.
So we did a couple things, and I got excited about being an entertainer. Well, my neighbor is older than me, and he's a great guy. I love him. Been neighbors for a long time. Our kids all grew up together. But he's a busy man. Owns a couple businesses. He has a couple houses. He's got a house down in New Smyrna. He's got a house he's got a place in Gettysburg. He's got his house across the street. He's got kids that are all growing up. He's like, dude, I don't want to gig. I don't want to go gig places. And like me, I'm ready to blow it up. I'm ready to go do like 50 gigs. I'm like, well,
and he does private parties. So
I do. I'm ready to start booking. And he was like, I don't want to play. He said, and I was like, oh man. So I was like, oh my gosh. So I ended up sitting idle with my, I had a voice that was ready to go for Central Pennsylvania, and wanted to sing songs and wanted to get out there and play covers. And I was just like sitting there like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I can't play because I don't know how to play the guitar. I didn't even know how to play it. And this was in COVID. So
Yeah.
I didn't even know how to play guitar. Yeah, because like I said, I didn't grow up around instruments. So like for me, it was a learning process later in life. And so I sat for a year and a half wishing I had a guitar player. Didn't have one. I decided, I remember only because you can go back in Amazon.
Yeah.
You can go back in Amazon and see when you bought things or, your history. So I looked, I was like, I bought my guitar on Amazon in July of 2023. So I bought my first guitar in July of 23. And
crazy.
yeah, I know. And I literally, I clunked around on it, tried to learn some chords. They say you can learn a couple chords, C, G, D. I mean, C, G, and D right there, those three chords, which are pretty easy. Well, I mean, I say that they are in terms of a guitar.
Yeah.
They're pretty easy guitar chords to play. C, G, and D. Those, and then A, and even E minor. Like you play those 5 chords right there, you can probably play a million songs off of those 5 chords right there. Yeah. And so I was like, all right, well, I just need to learn how to play those chords. So I clank. I play it. It was, yeah. It was more like that when I first started. Like, what I'm terrible. I have no touch, no feel. And I really kind of clunked around on the guitar for probably 3 or 4 months.
3 years. It's crazy.
No, that's not true. For about 3-4 months, I clanked around. And then I bought a cajon. I have a little cajon tab. You wear it like a guitar, just like this, but it's just this little box, kind of like playing a guitar like this. Yeah. You play like a little drum. Yeah. I've seen you probably have seen me out. I play harmonica a little bit too. Nice. Just kind of mess around with it. I can hold my own on certain songs. I know certain songs. Yeah. I wouldn't say I'm a harmonica player, but I definitely can accompany my guitar with a harmonica. But so that was what I was doing. I would sing all the songs. I would play a little cajon and I would play a little harmonica. And we started a new duo called Crash and Cross with a guy. And so I sat for a year and a half after I had that guitar player, and I was wishing I could play. I got a guitar. I'm going to just teach myself because I want to do this. This is what I want to do for retirement. Yeah. I just wanted to play beach bars. I want to go out. I want to play beach bars every day from 12 to 5.
Nice.
Somewhere in that time slot, and then be done. That's it. Hang out with tourists and play. I just wanted to live that Jimmy Buffett life. That was really kind of it for me. So I'm like, I'm going to learn how to play, and I'm going to just play all those songs. And so I couldn't figure it out for the life of me. I couldn't figure out how to play guitar. I was like, all right, man. I was just like, I found a buddy in the area, Matt Jameson, who's an awesome musician, and kind of like my mentor and a good friend. And he helped connect me with people in the music industry in this area, Central Pennsylvania. The community is amazing. We have a lot of great, talented musicians in the area. A lot of people that are putting music out now too, which I'm real excited for them. And yeah, I mean, Matt was just an influential person, and I ended up finding my first partner, Damien, on Craigslist, musicians community page. Oh, wow. He said acoustic guitar available, and I clicked on it. I thought acoustic guitar available. That's what I need. Let me see. And it's like looking for somebody that can maybe play the cajon or do the singing and maybe a little accompanying or something like that. And I'm like, this guy's talking to me.
Yeah.
I'm going to send him an email. I sent an email out of the blue because I'm like, maybe this is the person I need to hook up. Well, he ended up coming over to the house. He knew all the songs I had. I sent him a set list that I had from when I played with Jeff. And he knew all the songs. We played them like that day immediately. And I was like, all right, let's do this, man. So we got together. We did a couple open mics. And then all of a sudden gigs started kicking in and we started getting gigs. We did one gig. So I bought my guitar in July of 23. I did one gig in December of 23. I did one gig. My first gig was December of 23. I did my second gig, January of 23. And then we did 92 gigs after that for the year of 2024. Yeah. So we did 94 gigs in 2024. I was like thinking maybe we'd play one or I was like, we'll play one or two, maybe a month. That'd be cool. And then all of a sudden they started rolling in. They were doing 2, 3, 4 gigs a week.
That's awesome.
I'm like, holy cow, this is crazy. Well, June of that year, Damien, my old guitar partner, who was great musician, great guitar player. He didn't sing. He wasn't mic'd up or anything. He just played the guitar and I sang. But he told me he was moving to Maine in June. Wow. I had like 50 gigs lined up and all that clicked in my head at that point in time. Now I kept playing the guitar. I kept messing around, but I was playing mainly cajon and harmonica and singing. So I had not been serious about playing the guitar because I didn't need to. I found a guitar player. he told me in June that he was leaving
Okay.
and that he was moving to Maine. And I was like, immediately I thought, I am not going back to being that guy that can't play on my own. I need to learn how to play an instrument. So I got overly obsessed with the guitar. I was probably playing the guitar 2 to 3 hours a day. Every single day I would get up in the morning. And fortunately, being in real estate and being in owning a cheer gym that doesn't really work. I didn't really work in the cheer gym times from 3:30 to 10:30 at night. As you're working when the kids are out of school. So I had my mornings kind of open, and I was able to play, and I just kept playing the guitar. And the first song I ever learned was Ain't no sunshine when she's gone. It's not warm when she's away. Ain't no sunshine when she's gone. This house the same over anytime. And that was like the first song I sang. And and I was like, oh, I learned that so bad. Thank you. And now I play that out. I play that out a lot. And when I'm playing with my partner, he's all down here like,
nice.
I can't play the total fretboard yet. I'm a rhythm guitar player and the singer, so I hold rhythm for us and he plays. But I was like, there's no way I'm going to go another year and a half. And I had 50 gigs lined up that he was telling me he wasn't able to do. So I ended up playing with like 8 or 9 different guitar players in Central Pennsylvania. Fortunately, this time when I lost my partner, I knew people, and that helped me because tremendously. I mean, I played with some really good guitar players in the area that all stepped up and were amazing, great people. Yeah, and I love to name them all, but I mean, they're just, I appreciate them and they know who they are. But I ended up finding my next guitar player who is with me now on Craigslist yet again. It was so funny because I was like, Craigslist isn't that bad place to find musicians. I mean, there's a lot of other sketchy stuff on there, but there is the musician community page is pretty legit. And when you go on, it'll say like seeking lead vocalist for death metal band or some crazy thing like that, or rock vocalist available, that kind of stuff is on there. So I went on again and it said multi-instrumentalist, and in my mind I was still with my first partner, Crash and Cross, at the time, and I thought, oh, this guy plays mandolin and keyboard and all that stuff. And then I was thinking to myself, what if we expand this into a band? Let's get to know some other people. So I just sent him an email and said, hey man, I don't know if this is the right time or not, but I just want to say hi and introduce myself. We have a duo, Crash and Cross. And in his thing, it said I could potentially play as early as today. You just let me know what you want. He'd been in the music scene in Central Pennsylvania for 30 years, and was back and was looking to play out. So his name's Dave Gary. That's my current partner right now. I put that in there, and I sent him a thing. And I said, hey, well, I just want to keep you in my, in Rolodex, my phone basically. But I want to keep him in my list of people I knew, and so he. I ended up getting a gig that my partner canceled on. I called him up immediately. I sent him an email. I was like, dude, this is crazy. And you said you might be able to do it as early as today. I have a gig tonight at 6:00. And I could not play the guitar yet. And this was in, 2024, I couldn't play my own gigs. And so he came in and he showed up at 6:01 to a gig that started at 6. I had everything set up. I'm sitting there going, boy, oh boy, please show up, please be here. He said he's coming. I have this gig. I'm sitting up on stage and kind of setting things around. We were supposed to start or he came at 5:59. I'm sorry. We started at 6:01. He showed up at 5:59. I had everything set up. He pulls his guitar out. Yeah, I look at him and he's like, I'm like,
let's go.
Wagon wheel? It's like, boom, goes right into wagon wheel. I'm like, oh. So, and I sing Wagon Wheel, and I look at my wife. I'm like, that was pretty good, right? She goes, I was like, all right, cool. Because I still only knew him as Dave.
Yeah.
I didn't even know his last name. 3 songs into the set, we're playing at Grandpa's Love Shack up in Perry County, Shermansdale area. And good people up there. I think they just sold, so I think it's a new name. But regardless, he's sitting next to me to my left, and I look at him 3 songs in, and I go, "What's your last name?" I don't even know how to introduce you. They want to be like, "This is Dave." You know what I mean? Everybody meet Dave. So that was like, I know. So that was like such a last minute crazy thing. And so I got to, I mean, it happened so quick. And then I continued, I had a bunch of gigs set up with a bunch of different people. So multiple people had filtered in for the next 3-4 months of 2024. And all the while I kept playing the guitar and kept learning. So I was learning songs and different stuff like that. And, I started learning. I'm an old woman named after my mother. Oh man, is another child is grown. Dreams of lightning, thunder was desire. So that's was burned out a long time ago. Being an angel, flies from my garment. Take me a poster of the holy season. Just give me one thing I can go on. Even if living is just a heartbreak road. That was an Angel from Montgomery by John Prine. I started playing, trying to learn some John Prine music. And Bonnie Raitt made that famous that song. And so I mean, I just started learning a few songs on my own. I was like, all right, but I would play songs and try to play stuff, and I couldn't even hear the melody. Like it wasn't coming out. Like I'm not playing the music like the right way. I was playing the chords, but I couldn't figure out how to get the chords to sound like the song. And I never could get words to match everything. I kept grinding. I was like, there is no way that I'm going to ever figure out how to sing and play this guitar. That's how I felt in my body, but I never quit. I kept fighting. I kept pushing. And I kept thinking to myself, it's funny because the metaphor here is that I kept thinking to myself, practice is what I need to do. Yeah. I'm a coach. I got to coach myself. And I was trying to learn how to play guitar by myself. I would watch a video, or, you can doom scroll through TikTok. You should see my TikTok algorithm was literally people playing the guitar. Yeah. There's a guy, the whole entire thing was just one guy playing this song, next guy playing this song. I'm like, oh, there's a song. I want to learn how to play that. I want to play that one, and I was just watching their fingers and what they were doing on the, and trying to learn the chords. And I just got really obsessed by it, and over the top, wanted to be better, wanted to succeed, wanted to be able to provide the instrumentation for my vocals. And finally it started clicking, and the words were coming out. It was a matter of me getting this hand to match my mouth. Once this hand could match my mouth, then I felt like I could now sing the songs, and I still have, I started taking lessons in January of 25 from Chris Hawks, who's a great, amazing guitar player, a good friend of mine. He started teaching in January of 2000. Again, he taught years ago, and then he quit for a while. But he started coaching and teaching people guitar lessons. I started immediately with him. So from June 24 until January, or December, I should say, of 24, it was just me learning how to play guitar by myself. And I had picked up probably about 3-4 songs. So by the end of 2024, what would happen was we would do a gig, and I wouldn't use my guitar. I would play the cajon and sing and do harmonica. And then he would take a break for 3 songs, and I would play solo 3 songs. So in my sets, I would play 3 songs, and whatever they would be, those would be the ones I would do. And then he would come back and he would play 3 songs, and I would take a break. So that live music was always going, and then we would come back together. So
Probably help with your confidence.
rather than and it was exactly what I needed. It was a perfect thing to do, and it was 3 songs that I felt like I could perform to people and still feel like I should be getting paid to do it. You know what I mean? Like I wasn't like, because as a paid musician in the area, you want to provide. I want to provide a legitimate, legitimate service to the customers of the place. I don't want to go up there and make it sound like it's
like me singing. Yeah.
Is that what it would have been?
No, it's just my claim to fame is I think we were dating in Southside and I sang karaoke and people actually threw red solo cups at me.
Pearl Jam.
Yeah,
That's
I
what
did
you
so
think,
bad.
right?
I probably did. It probably was Pearl Jam. They were throwing cups at me. Boo, get them off the stage.
Yeah, so I will not be singing. So.
Okay, all right, fair enough. Yeah, so I just and I got to do 3 songs and it enhanced and built me up to feel like I could. So then I started able to do like all the while. Anytime I was not playing a gig, I was at an open mic. I went to open mic one right after the other, and open mic is it's like that necessary evil. I've grown to like it more and more, but back then I hated it. It's not your equipment, it's not your microphone, it's not your setup, it's not your stuff. You show up, you don't really get any kind of warm-up songs. You get 3 songs, you do bam, 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 you're done. Get off the stage, next person's going. I never felt like you could warm up into the music. And so it was always tricky, and it was always like, but I have to do it. Because the one thing it did was challenge me as a solo artist. And I didn't get enough challenging as a solo artist because I was always leaning on somebody else playing the guitar next to me. And I would do the singing, which I was good at. I'm very good at that too. I could sit back and just sing songs and somebody else play the guitar. That'd be fine. But I wanted to be a solo musician also. And I told my friend that I canceled 1 gig when I lost my guitar player. And I told her, she was a friend of mine that I went to high school with, who owns Red's barbecue. And they were running Appalachian Harley Davidson. They had the outdoor theater, and I was helping them book. And I told her, I said, I will never cancel another next year when you're doing this. I will never cancel another gig. I'll play solo. I will learn the guitar to the point where I can play solo. And so, to that, I will say that I got serious in July, I would say, of 24. My very first gig was March of 2025. So July, I mean, it's going to be August, September, October, November, December, January, February, March. 8 months later, 8 months later, I played my first 3-hour gig. Nice. And that was at Flinchie's on the train right down on Wednesday night. So, I mean, yeah, it was huge. And I mean, it took me basically 6 to 8 months to get to a point where I felt confident enough to play by myself. And now I do. Now I'm able to play all the time by myself now. But I enjoy playing duo also. Mm-hmm. I like playing rhythm and singing and letting my partner just rip on the guitar and go up and down. Plus, I think the customers and the people that are out there listening, they enjoy that. They like hearing a lead guitar that can go down here and play all that cool stuff down there. I'm not down here yet. I'm trying to learn the fretboard a little bit more to travel up and down. And, I play some, I play some bar chords now, different. Stuck on you, got this feeling down deep in my soul and a chain. I'm home. Needed a friend, and the way I feel now, just I'll be with you too. Somewhere now, I'm glad you stayed. So I'm learning how to move up and down the fretboard a little bit more. I think of that song right there. And, this is an old school song by the Allman Brothers.
Oh, yeah, I can't think of the name.
It's one of my favorite songs. Melissa. Crossroad seem to come at me. Gypsy flies and goes, throwing many loving birds, carrying sorrow, having fun. Back home alone is from sweet Melissa. So yeah, moving up and down the fretboard has been a challenge and different, but I'm learning. I'm learning.
Are you working that in any of your original stuff? Any?
Yeah, I have. Actually, I do one. I'll do a song called Mr. Morgan.
Okay.
Mr. Morgan.
Is he a captain by chance?
Yes, believe it or not, he's my best friend, and he is a captain. So I do a lot of songs. I write a lot of songs about alcohol, different alcohol songs. And my wife told me, she said, you write so many songs about alcohol. You should write, like I have a song called Tequila Sunrise. I have a Bourbon Broke. I have Mr. Morgan.
Liquor Cabinet.
Well, that's kind of where this one came from. She was like, you write so many songs about alcohol. You need to you should put them all in an album, and you should where do you put all your alcohol? You put it in a liquor cabinet. You should put it in an album and make your album Liquor Cabinet. That was her idea, and I was like, "See, you're creative."
There you go.
So it was a great idea, and that was a great song that I had written. But Mr. Morgan is it's a song basically about. If you want, I'll do this one.
Yeah, it'd be awesome.
Right, cool. Yeah. This is, like I said, this is a song about my best friend that's a captain and all the rum that we have drank together. So, and I remember back, and Todd, you'll remember this too because we were in college together. I remember back to my days at McMonagle's when I used to be a bouncer and I was a bartender there as well. And all of a sudden, this Captain Morgan showed up, and we're like, "What is this stuff? Spiced rum. This looks good." But it was a bottom shelf. It was like nothing. It was like we never heard of it before. It just kind of came onto the scene. We would do shots of it because when you're in college, you do shots of everything.
Yep. Yeah.
This is Coachable Athletes. No, yes. That's not how to be a coachable athlete. But that's not how to be a coachable athlete. Treat your body like the athlete that you want it to be. Yes. Regardless, back in college, that was some stuff that we had done. But yeah, I would never do that anymore. That's my body doesn't do that anymore. But anyway, I think back to those days, and I wrote some. This is called Mr. Morgan. Best friend's a captain. We show them through a lot. Been there on my best days. See me through days every night. I got a sailor friend named Jerry. He comes around from time to time. Takes his orders from the natural world, and that's not what I take mine. If you need a good friend, meet this again. It always makes you feel better than you should. Raise your leg, your glass to Mr. Morgan. Good friend like him in the world, he gets a job done. Yeah. That part right there, that's me. Working downstream.
Nice. Yeah, I hear you. Good stuff, brother.
Sit around my room, just a cruising along. Taste of the spices of combo, cracking met a power girl named. She showed me her tattoo. Traveled to the darkness, that's what we always toasted you. If you need a good friend, meet this again. It always makes you feel better than you should. Raise your leg to your glass to Mr. Morgan. No better like him in the world, he gets a job done. When it's time to tell stories, break out private sky. Best friend started on the bottom shelf, and now he's dated to the top. If you need a good friend, meet Crasher Morgan. He always makes you feel better than you should. Raise your legs in your glass to Crasher Morgan. No friend like him in the world that gets a job done. Raise your legs in your glass to Crasher Morgan. No friend like him in the world that gets a job done. Thank you, guys. That's a fun song. I don't know if you caught all the references to all the different rums in there.
I caught a few, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I was talking about Sailor Jerry.
Sailor
and,
Jerry.
Yeah, Admiral Nelson's in there
Yeah.
too. Malibu Cruising, Bumbu, Pirate, Blackheart, Tattoo, all that. Yeah.
Wanna keep it going?
My creative.
Keep it going.
Oh yeah.
What do you got next?
What should I do? Liquor cabinet.
Liquor cabinets.
Mr. Morgan, I put Mr. Morgan out in February. So it's out on wherever you stream or buy your music, wherever that is. And that was out in February. Did Beachbound already. That's coming out this month, April 24th.
Beachbound.
I'm putting one song out a month this year in 2026.
Nice.
I thought about doing an album, and I'm very album in my mind. I'm very It's very hard to get out of that mindset. But we have some good friends, some mutual friends. And I was talking to them, and as we were talking, they were like, just put a single out every month. Put a single out a month.
Nice.
Or every 5-6 weeks, they were like, put a single out. I was like, I'm just going to do it every month because I have a lot of material that I want to put out. And then at the end of the year, I'm going to take all those singles, throw them into an album, and then release an album.
There you go.
That way. So they'll be out as singles, but they'll come out as an album. That way, when I'm out, playing gigs, places, I can sell people all my singles on an album that way. Not a lot of people. I mean, everybody streams for the most part. Not a lot of people play CDs anymore. I don't even think they put CD players in cars anymore, but a lot of people that like to support musicians still buy CDs, so I'm gonna do that. But this was, I talked about it a little while ago. This was a song that my wife gave me an idea for, Liquor Cabinet. So this is my opportunity to put all my songs into one place. So Liquor Cabinet. The song came out in January. My first single, debut single I ever put out. Everybody has a place to put their spirits. Some put them on the shelf, some never put them down. Me, I like to drink in moderation. But not tonight, it's going down. Now I'm standing here staring at the sticker gun, wondering which bottle's my next victim. I'ma take one down and pass it around. And everybody in here gets some. Liquor cabinet just like mine. Got all the good stuff up inside. So come on, take the boys in just like me. Ooh, yeah. Which one will it be? Look out! It's like a cabinet. Tonight, the Liquor Cabinet ain't got a chance. The Liquor Cabinet is ready tonight. If you're ready for it, get them up, y'all. We'll just fill it back up again. You drinking Jack or Jim or some other bourbon, that tequila makes me go no good. Should I never frown because it never lets me down, spice it up, got more gone. So maybe to choose, I can't decide this. Liquor cabinet does that all the time. Decisions, it's all on me. Ooh, yeah. Which one will it be? The liquor cabinet, ready tonight. The liquor cabinet ain't got a chance. The liquor cabinet, ready tonight. If you're ready for else, back up again. always fun at the bar. We get that lid, grab a bottle of Chevy fifth, if we get one buzz, it's easy because couple shots on to get it on, a little bit, don't want to remember and understand. Grab a bunch of rain.
There you go.
It's like a cabinets, getting ready tonight. It's like a cabinet, ain't got a chance. It's like a cabinets, getting ready tonight. Last one, y'all. Just back up again. Fill it back up again. Fill it back up again. Woo! So now that I'm putting all this music out, I'm like, my mind keeps changing on what I'm eventually going to name my album. Yeah, I'm like, I feel like I have to put this album out called Liquor Cabinet, because I've talked about it. My wife gave me this great idea to do that, but then the other side of me is like, I'm working on trying to get into the trop rock world. And I just had that song. This song is right now playing on a bunch of places. Gulf Coast Music Radio. It's playing on Radio SPF. It's playing on Country Cruising Radio. It's playing on Radio Trop Rock. Yeah, I mean, tons of stations, streaming stations around the Gulf Coast. Nice. Where I like to play. I like to play down that way. And I did get an opportunity to play down in Key West, where we talked about a little while ago earlier.
Hog's Head, was it? Hog's Jumping, right?
I played, yeah. Well, my good friend Heather Vidal played at the Hog's Breath, and she let me play a couple songs up there, which was cool. I've watched between her and Tropical Soul, Dennis McCaughey, and Heather. I've watched them probably. I've been to Meeting of the Minds 10 times in the last 13 years, probably. So I've seen them every year. They've been up on that stage playing, and to be able to go up and play on that stage this year was amazing. I think probably my biggest achievement when I was down there, I played a couple places. I played Viva Argentina. I played Backyard Bar. I played Hank's Hair of the Dog, which was really cool. I played Surly Siren Saloon. But my biggest two, I should say, I played the Chart Room. And for those that aren't familiar with the Chart Room, I don't really want to give it away because it's kind of like that nostalgic secret little hideaway bar. Dive bar. It's the first bar that Jimmy Buffett ever played in Key West. I played that unplugged, just like I'm playing right now, just sitting here in front of me. And basically that, if you've ever been in the Chart Room, it's about the size of this basement right here. It's a very small room. It's like a hotel room, and that they converted into a bar. I think many years ago when they opened up the hotel, and people were like, "Where's your bar?" And they were like, "Oh, give us a minute." They turned a hotel room into a bar. Chart Room, but it's very nostalgic dive bar. They give out they don't give it out, I shouldn't say, but they have it off of popcorn, peanuts, and they have a crock pot full of hot dogs. Nice. And you just grab it. That's the kind of bar it is. Nice. So you just grab, and now they get called. The drinks are probably, but they pay for all that stuff somehow. But I played there. And that was amazing. It was such a cool night. And then the next morning, I got a text message that they wanted me to play Margaritaville from 1 to 3, and I got to play Margaritaville. So I played where Jimmy got his start.
Awesome.
At the Chart Room, he played for Heineken beer and tips. That's what I told him I would play for. That's the same thing Jimmy played. And they brought me in, so I was really stoked about that. And then to be able to play his bar the next day was awesome. It was it was very surreal for me. It was a great way. And I was leaving on Sunday, and that was also the night they turned the clock back, so we gained an hour. Okay. So we were at the Chart Room until midnight. I started playing it. We played 6 hours. And I just kept playing all night long. I didn't care. I must have played every Jimmy Buffett song I knew 3 times each. But yeah, I kept playing. I kept playing there all night. And I had a bunch of musicians. We were passing the guitar around. Other trop rock musicians that were there. It was awesome. And so yeah, that was a really fun night. But we gained an hour. We went down the Duval Street and hung out until probably 4 in the morning. Yeah. And then I got a text that I had to be at Margaritaville the next day. I was like, I'm not missing it. I was supposed to fly out. I was like, I'll change my airline to do that gigs. But yeah, so yeah, man.
Nice.
Yeah. What
I'm
You
going
want to coach? You want to coach some more kids?
Well, I do. I want to end this interview, but I want to hear you play some more. So
All right.
let's end on a positive note here. Get the guitar ready here. So a parent comes to you. You have 30 seconds to have comments to a young athlete, a young person, and it's reaching young minds. So a parent says, "I'm struggling. I don't know what to do." Like, what would your message be to talk to that young mind?
Are they in my program?
Yes,
Are they
in your
just
program,
okay?
yeah.
One of a parent
One of
comes to
your
me. I'm
athletes.
struggling with
Yeah.
my child behaviorally,
Yeah,
or
behaviorally.
okay.
I'm
All
having
right.
some issues.
All right. Probably the first thing I'm going to do is assess where that athlete is in my program and find out where they are in my program. That'll happen really quickly. I think the key for me is, how much do you love this sport? Do you love competitive cheer? Do you enjoy what you're doing? Because I love it. This is what I love doing. I love coaching you. I love coaching kids like you. I love coaching people like you and having people like you in my gym. So my thing that you have to understand as an athlete is, this is one of those types of sports that your parents allow you to be in, but they're paying a lot of money for you to be a part of it. So it's an expendable sport. You need to have families need to have income.
Yeah.
And so you need to be appreciative of the fact that your parents are bringing you in here and paying a bill for you to be a part of this, so that you can gain that. That doesn't always happen with all sports,
Yeah.
but in my case, I'm able to use that in one of those things. So I'm not necessarily throwing numbers at them, because I don't care about the money as much as I want them to understand what their parents are doing for them, and for them to understand, if you love this sport the way you say you're loving this sport, which usually they're always like, I love being here. This is what I want to do. Okay, well then you need to fix the things that are on the outside that could end up taking this away, because your parents will remove this from what you can do.
Yeah.
And there's not much I can do other than support them through it. If your parents have to take this sport away from you because you're being unruly outside of it, then you're actually hurting your team, you're hurting yourself and what you want to do in the future with this particular sport. And you're losing this opportunity because mom and dad have to pay for it. It's not a free sport.
Yeah.
You could go do rec cheerleading if they even allow you to do that. And then in that case, you're still going to probably pay money. You're just not going to necessarily pay quite as much as what competitive all-stars is. But regardless, I think that's probably my number one approach. And I like to try and get down to that level where I'm like, what is your goal? What are your goals? If your goals are, where do you see yourself in a year or 2 years? Do you want to be on this team again next year? Do you want to be on the next team up? And, in our sport, that's a thing that works, because most kids are aspiring to move up a level.
Yep.
Every year, if I'm working at this, I want to go from level 1 to level 2, from level 2 to level 3 to level 4, and so on. So each year I'm like, well, if you're not pushing yourself, you could end up on level 1 again or level 2, and there's nobody to blame but yourself, because you have everything you need right here. You have to push yourselves. You have to work hard in order to gain the next level. And there's criteria that's not even set necessarily by us. It's set by this industry standard where we have to compete against. Well, if you're going to go out there on a level 2 team and you're not going to throw a handspring, then that's going to be a problem, because everybody that we're going to compete against is going to have kids on the team that throw handsprings.
Yep.
So you have to meet a standard in order to be on a level 2 team. If you want to be on a level 5 team, well, then you probably should throw a full, or you should probably have a standing tuck at that point, or you should probably be able to throw a full up liberty, or base it or back it or fly it. And if you're flying it, you're going to need to be able to do flexible positions. So are you flexible? So there's ways for me to utilize those aspects in order to try and get on their page and understand, where are you at as an athlete right now? Where do you want to be as an athlete? And if you want to be at that next level, let's get you there. But the first thing you have to fix is what's going on at home.
Yep.
You can't, because what's going on at home affects everything you have here. It's one of those things that's really easy for a parent to say, I'm not paying for that anymore. It's, if you're not, I'll pay for it as long as you're happy, and 2, you're following the rules of the household.
Yeah.
And every household has rules in it. And the kids that are in those households need to understand that.
Yep.
But I'm always supportive of parents and behavioral, and I'm happy to help in those areas. And I always tell parents, look, if you're going to pull a kid out of the program, you're not affecting just your kid.
Yeah.
You think you are, but in a team sport, you think you're solving the problem by saying, I'm going to take this away from your child. If I take this away from my child, they're going to fill the void with something.
Mhm.
and not always is it going to be a good thing. They're going to fill the void with probably negatives, because there's a lot of negatives beaten on them every single day. So if a child is got it in a positive situation and in a positive setting, and they're enjoying what they're doing, if to threaten that is it can be very startling to an athlete or to a student or a child, but also it can be motivating, and it can also have negative effects if you go through with it, if you follow through with it. And the other thing a parent doesn't want to do is draw a line in the sand and then back up and then be forced to do it, or back off of that line in the sand and make a new line back here somewhere, and then your kid keeps getting away with stuff. That's counterproductive also. So I'm always here to help, and I'm happy to help. And I told parents that too in parent meetings. I'm happy to help. If you need discipline, I'm a discipliner, period. I mean, that's who I am as a coach. I demand a certain quality from my athletes, and I demand a certain level of respect from them, but I also give it to them. Kids know where they stand with me all the time, because I'm a communicator, and I feel like to be a good coach, be coachable players. To be a coachable player, it's always easier when you feel like you know your role on a team. So to communicate that with them as a coach, what is your role? Understand it, know that you're what, and then be evaluated on that role. How am I doing at it? Not just now I know my role, but how am I doing? I want to be better at this role. If I'm a back spot, I want to be the best back spot. Because a lot of times in a gym situation, they're going to say, my top team in the gym, we have 20 kids on it. Well, okay, you're going to put 5 stunts up in the air. I need 5 back spots, 5 flyers, and 10 bases. That's what I need on the team. So you could be the 11th best base in the whole gym, maybe the 15th best or 12th best athlete in the gym, but still you're the 11th best base on the team. What do I do with you? I can't put you on that team so that's a tough conversation sometimes that you have to have with an athlete. And that happens all the time in all sports. You could be the 6th best lineman on the offensive line, and the problem is you only play 5. You could be the 2nd best quarterback in the whole entire country, and the best quarterback is in front of you. In the whole country. That's a tough thing to have to deal with as an athlete. But if it's communicated and it's explained,
it can be a driver.
It can be something that pushes an athlete to be even stronger and better. Iron sharpens iron, in that situation. So it's like, you surround yourself with talent. And that's another one of my things. I'm like, surround yourself with the people you want to be. If you're hanging out with people that are causing issues and problems and all that kind of stuff, and then you got negative people, you're probably going to have those same exact problems fall back on you. Guilty by association type of thing. So surround yourself with people like you, like-minded people that you want to be like, and that'll help you to be a better person also, that's probably my conversation, but that's awesome. That to me, that conversation starts with parents. Like I want that. I set that tone with a parent before I've ever even seen a kid. Kids try out in the beginning of the year. We have a parent meeting right before the season starts. And I'm like, this is your commitment. This is you're getting to know us as gym owners, as business owners, as coaches, as what we're going to do for your kids and how we lay out our entire program. You're making a decision as to whether you want your child to be a part of that or not. And now that you're putting them in this situation, there's going to be some bumps in the road. There's going to be things that you like, things you don't like. But I can tell you that we will have an answer for any question you have. We might not have the answer you want to hear, but we'll have the answer that this gym is happy with, and that we'll be proud of moving forward. So, I don't always tell parents what they want to hear, but I tell them what they should hear, what they need to hear. And I always had that conversation with parents, because I feel like then it trickles into the household. Then it's a conversation where you can sit down at the dinner table, you're having dinner. Hey, how'd it go to practice today? Well, I know, he's going to be tough on you. He's going to push you, they're only doing that because he wants to see you do this or get that. I know, but then, it's always tough when you're sitting at the dinner table and he's like, hey, he pushes me so hard. That's ridiculous. What is he pushing you like that for? You mean that can set the tone for a whole different type of athlete when they come back into the gym. Yeah, my parents don't think I should be having to get yelled at or blah, blah, blah. Or not yelled at, but what, I just say that in general. But, so I, or whatever. I shouldn't have to do this 15 times, or that kind of a thing. That's like, that's the aspect that I feel like the conversation with parents is the key, because I always tell my parents, I'm in competitive cheerleading, so there's a fee at ours, and not every sport is that way. Not every athlete is being coached in the exact same manner as we are potentially coached. But we're one of those types of sports where we have cost involved with our sport and keeping a gym open. We're as much of a business as we are a sport as well. So, so in my situation, I always make sure the parents understand where we stand right away, so that they, we don't have those issues down the road. I always spell that out in the beginning. So I don't want them to come back and be like, well, that's not what you said, or this or that, or
I get it. Yeah.
If I get parents on the same team as us, I feel like that makes for a better coachable athlete as well. If I get them on the same side, because I'm like, we don't charge you enough money, parents, in order for me to coach you too.
Yep.
I'm not coaching parents. I'm coaching players.
Yeah.
Coachable players
Yes.
is one thing. Coachable parents, that's a whole nother fee.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm coaching you too. That's a whole nother fee. I have to charge you. But so, man.
Well, this was awesome.
Thank you.
You knocked it out of the park here. It's reaching young minds.
It was fun. Thank you. It was fun to. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Keep the guitar. We hope you play a couple.
I'll put. Yeah, absolutely. I'm happy to.
My takeaway was meet people where they are, is what I heard, and I also heard passion, if they find their passion.
Yeah.
Meet them where they are.
And communication, passion. Yeah, I mean, I think that's some of the
reaching
biggest
young minds right there.
Yeah, absolutely. You just gotta, you got to go to where they are and bring them where you want them to be.
Yeah. And
you know where you want them to be because you're the professional in the sport. You're the coach.
But if they don't have passion for it, it's
you got to find out where they're at. Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
And and so I agree, man. This is awesome. It was nice to be able to incorporate music.
Yes.
And into coaching too. And
one more question.
Yeah.
What's your favorite cover that you play live? And then we'll hear it. Yeah. Are you going to play it for us?
Oh,
your favorite
question.
cover.
Man, what do I like?
We have requests?
I know, that is crazy. Wow.
I thought this would be an easy one. I thought this was the
very hard. Well, I like so many songs.
Okay, what cover does the crowd love the most when you play?
I don't.
Come on. Sweden?
No.
Country Road?
No.
Country Road? No.
No, that's those are things. Those aren't typically in my set. Those are they go in my set if.
Well, you mentioned one. What did you mention? You mentioned.
I don't know. What did I?
You remember what song you mentioned?
I do. Yeah. Do you like Gordon Lightfoot?
I think you said it was your first gig. You played something. You played this.
Ain't No Sunshine.
Well, you played that one, but you
played.
You mentioned something.
Yeah, I don't know.
Chris Stapleton.
You can do Tennessee
Whiskey. That's it. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. We came around to it.
Used to spend my nights out Take away the love. You rescue me, reaching for the bottle. For me, soul Tennessee whiskey. Your whiskey, so fine. Your whiskey, I still say, oh, you're right time. I've never learned the same old piece of in the bottle, is right. You hold out your heart, 'Cause there's nothing like your blue. Gives me hope. You're smooth. Tennessee whiskey. You're a sweet strawberry wine. You're a honey, I'll sing a song on you all the time. This will be the part where my partner would typically play a really good lead. You're smooth Tennessee whiskey. You're a sweet strawberry wine. You're a sweet. Honey, I stay home on you. Tennessee whiskey. Tennessee whiskey. Tennessee whiskey. You're red, so Tennessee whiskey. Tennessee whiskey. Tennessee whiskey. Yeah. Woo! Thank you guys. I appreciate you. Too kind. Yeah, that was that actually was a song. That was the one that did it for me. That was the one that was like, this is what I want to do.
Awesome.
I want to sing in front of people, and yeah.
You got the voice for it.
Thank you.
Definitely.
Appreciate
Yeah,
it.
you
Thank
sound
you.
awesome.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thank you. This was a blast, man.
This
John, I
was fun.
appreciate you. Thank
This
you
was
very much.
fun. On behalf
Yeah.
of Elena and Maddie and all the other players that you coached over the decades, thank
Yeah.
you so much for all that you
Thank
do
you.
for reaching the young minds.
I
So,
appreciate that, man.
Thank you.
I appreciate that. You are
Yes.
very welcome. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks everyone for listening. Until next time, stay humble, stay hungry, and stay coachable. Boom.
I like that.
Woo!
Nailed it.